Good evening, Mr. Mayor, Council, and General public. I'm here today just to give y'all thanks for helping tourism out in the dedication and the unveiling of the little Walter Jacobs sign that we put on the corner of LaVege and Victory Drive. That was done back in March. I am going to hand to you the press release that went out that was drafted by the state prior to the event, and the post release that they sent out after the event was happening, after the unveiling. But for tonight, I'm just here to say thank you for being a great partner with the Falls Parish Tourism. A great shout out to all of your departments that helped us out so much to make the place look great that day, everything functioning properly, everything that, when we checked all the boxes that were asked very, very easily with all of your help. Reception was wonderful. We had people here from Chicago, Baton Rouge, and several other areas, and Mr. Buddy Guy also, because that was his request that spearheaded all of this for this to happen. So again, I'm just here to say thank you for being a partner with the Falls Parish Tourism, and if ever we can do something again, you will see me back right here asking for you to help us. Thank you again.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Williams. Appreciate what you do. Anybody else on the delegation? Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am.
Good evening, everyone. My name is, well, to the mayor and the other members of the Marksville City Council, residents and other community stakeholders. My name is Nikki G. Bannister, board member of the Arts and Humanities Council of Avoyelles. The Arts Council is proud to present the Avoyelles Arts and Music Festival. Now, Mansour has the push on the leg, and Bucky has the corn. However, I don't need to tell you all that Marksville is the epicenter of the cultural crossroads. Here we have the festival here, and it sits as a cultural crossroads because one reason is because of our 13 years as Louisiana's July 4th destination festival. And that's why I come to you on behalf of the festival, co-chairs Allison Robert Augustine and Van Roy and the Arts Council to humbly ask that your esteemed council votes to extend your commitment as a sponsor of this amazing event that has grown leaps and bounds, not only just locally, not just regionally, but nationally and internationally. Because now we're in a Miss America pipeline, and because of the awesome programming that the festival provides. So that said, again, I humbly ask for your vote of confidence in our festival and continued support for us as we toot our horn as Louisiana's 4th of July destination festival.
Ms. Madison, do you know what we contributed last year as a sponsor?
$5,000.
I motion to do the same this year.
I'll second. Any other discussion? You know, given the 5,000, it's all the people that come to town and the money that's spent in town, and I think we collect a whole bunch of money that comes back and pays at 5,000 over the sales tax money that we receive from all that.
The return on investment is amazing.
Fireworks. Chris, this is for the 4th of July, correct? So the fireworks, we're working on that?
Yes, the fireworks are,
Okay.
fireworks are ordered. The casino gave us permission to shoot them there again. The only problem we might have is with the tariff increase.
Yeah.
We're waiting to find out what that means. We're not sure.
Are they still willing to go half like they did before?
They haven't been half in the last 2 years.
Oh, they didn't?
No, we submitted a letter to them last year. Councilman Chapman delivered it to them, and they never responded to it.
Chris, can you give me another one this year, please?
I can't.
Thank you.
Well,
Is it gonna be at the casino again like it was last year?
Those are the plans, yes, sir.
you know, like you just mentioned, I mean, Answer is Scotia on the Lake, Bumpy's Corn Festival, Bumpy, I mean, Moorville has theirs. I mean, 4th of July is Marksville Festival. And it's the longest running parade in the history of Louisiana. And, you know, I think it would be nice to go ahead and continue supporting the fireworks and going ahead and giving the 5,000 to the Arts Council so that they can go ahead and move forward with it. So, any other discussion? Need a vote? All in favor, signify by saying aye. Aye. Okay. Well, thank you, man. Appreciate it.
Thank you.
Ms. Maria?
I just have a follow-up question. Could y'all give us an update on Mr. Barry Lemoyne coming here to sign a resolution to be litter abatement officer in Marksville? He told us last night, night before last, that he was waiting on an invite and okay from y'all.
I spoke to him personally, and I think Mike was there when he spoke to Mike and I told him to come. I don't think that I don't think the council will have any problem,
Okay.
because, you know, when we spoke to him, we told him.
He said he was coming.
Yeah, he said he was supposed to be here, and we spoke to him about the amount of trash that Sean's crew picks up every month. So he said, you know, by him going ahead and start giving tickets, he said he could probably offset that and reduce that amount. But he was supposed to be here tonight. He said he was gonna be here tonight, but I don't see him.
Okay, thank you.
Yes, ma'am.
Appreciate it.
Good evening, Mayor, City Council. On behalf of Light Breed Drainage Task Force, Mr. Blue and I would like to thank everyone involved with the removal of the culverts at the Garrett Crossing. The city council, the mayor, Boyles Parish Police Jury, where's Mark? There's Mark. And the Tunica Biloxi Tribe for coming to an agreement and working together to make this happen. We've been working on this for about 4 years or more now, so it's finally came to fruition. And we all, thank God, it got pulled out Thursday, and Saturday night, early Sunday morning, we had a 3.5-inch rain in about 3 hours. And normally at my house, that puts it at the banks or slightly over the banks. This time, it was at half or less. I got up when the rain stopped, looked at the bank, and it was good. It was good. So thanks for.
Mark, I'd like to thank y'all and the police jury for doing it in a timely manner.
Yes.
I mean, y'all did what y'all said y'all were gonna do, and y'all went ahead and had permission to tear it down. Y'all did what y'all had to do. So I'd like to go ahead and thank the police jury
Yes.
for what they did.
We kind of use our kitchen window as a measuring stick when we get these little types of rains. And normally, like Lonnie said, it'll bring it just about to full bank. And Sunday morning, Laura actually got up and went and looked, and she never saw water come into view from our kitchen window. And that's half or less of the bio filling up. So we can see that has already helped to some extent. But naturally, please, let's not stop this, and let's try to just keep everything going.
You know, while we're at it, and I think Mark Hill would be willing to do that too, there's another set of covers downstream before you get to the Kool-Aid that was put at one time for crossing. So, you know, maybe we might want to look at that if that's an obstacle to where it's not letting the water get out of the back. Y'all know about it, the engineers do.
Yes.
And
Yeah.
so maybe in
We
the
addressed
near
that
future.
to the police jury, and the jury was supposed to send a letter to that gentleman telling them that he was kind of in violation of the
But it was years and years ago that, and it's not marking him, it was years and years ago that he had got permission from the police jury to do it. And that time, you know, none of us were there.
yeah.
So it was done without really,
But
none of us knowing.
I think I showed y'all the pictures. Now it's a big steel structure with some small pipes, and Marcus had even had some aerial drone footage where the water was just toppling over it and
Correct.
going around. It's a severe blockage. So, and
The engineer, can we look at seeing if we can proceed and try to get that one moved too?
We looked at it, it is outside of the city limits. I'm not sure that it's as bad of a blockage as it appears to be just because of the elevation differences, but it's definitely something that we're looking at in our study with the LWI project. I mean, that's where we're really gonna figure out, is it really impeding drainage like we think it is? Because if you go out there and look at it, I mean, like Mr. Lonnie said, it looks like a problem. But I really
It's like
don't
a
know
dam.
that it's as bad as it looks, just because the way the ground falls off past the Garrett building. I think it may just be going over the top. I don't know that for sure, but we'll have more information on it. And, you know, at some point, if it is a problem, then maybe there is a way for us to address it, even though it's out in the city limits. But we'll cross that bridge when we get there.
I just want to give you a little update on the USDA NRCS grant status. Remember, Kirk Garber was here the other day, and y'all acknowledged the receipt of the preliminary investigation feasibility report, and he was going to forward that at the end of the first quarter. Well, the first quarter came and went in March, but with the climate in Washington D.C. the way it is right now, with funding cuts and jobs being cut and all that kind of stuff, he thinks the best strategy is to wait another quarter, let things settle out, and then proceed with submitting the PIFR for funding. And tie it into that, Kirk decided to take an early retirement that was offered to federal employees that were almost ready to retire. So he's training his relief right now. He's going to take over our project, and as soon as he gets his gets settled in, he's going to contact me, and we're going to go over everything, make sure everything's good to go for him to submit the PIFR for funding for the engineering assistance. That's the next phase. Remember that's where Kirk mentioned something about a 10% administration fee that the city could get if you wanted to do that. Now, the task force could help you out with that, but we'd have to come to some kind of agreement. But anyway, again, the big thing, thank you to everyone concerned for getting those culverts done. I know it took a lot of cooperation and coordination and give and take, but again, thank you to everyone.
Thank you.
Thank you, Mark, Mayor, everyone. Marcus.
All right, anybody? Delegations? Bob?
John, with maybe Jonathan get Barry, all you need is an intergovernmental agreement signed.
I thought he was gonna be here tonight, Mark, and we could've did that tonight, but evidently he might have had something else he had
He
to
has to
do.
be here to do that.
I mean, just gonna say, we don't need him
Well, we
here.
had talked about it, I wanna say a month or so ago, but nobody ever got in touch with me about it. So I don't know.
I think he has the document printed out, the agreement to sign, so, I mean,
Well, yeah, then he just needs to send it to me.
he had said he would be here,
So do we
unless
need
he
to
had
vote
to
on
be
any
at
of
a
that?
town hall meeting. And, because he's been in different meetings.
Yeah, well, whenever he gets a chance, just get him to send it to me.
Okay, move on. Item 4, city engineer's report.
Thank you, Mayor and Council. I've got a couple items that we probably need to get into a little discussion on, so I'll try to skip through the other things rather quickly. The first one is South Washington Street Road and Drainage Repairs. That's where we've already cut the road. We've got a hole across the road. Rondell had to relocate a sewer force main for us to put that piping under the road. He's doing that. Right now, I'm waiting for the gas company to abandon one of their lines in the road, and that will allow us to install our box culverts. The contractor is expected now to start about the beginning of May. And the reason being is we had these utilities we had to get out of the way. He had to go and take a job. He told me the other day he took a 2-week job that he's trying to finish it up. And by the time he's done with that, we should be ready, have all of our utilities out the way, and he can start. I think the whole job will take about 30 to 45 days. Okay, on our DOTD LA 452 utility relocation project, that's the project by the cemetery where the state is going to install the drainage, and our job is to get the utilities out of the way. At the last meeting, Rondell requested that we get prices for the entire project. The entire project is running a new 14-inch water line, boring it through that area, abandoning the 3 existing water mains, tying them in, demoing some concrete, demoing some asphalt in DOTD's right of way. A pretty extensive traffic control plan to signify traffic to go around. So a small area, but a pretty significant amount of work. I requested some proposals on that from, I think, 10 or 12 different contractors. I got one back, and it was $300,000 to do that work. There are two problems with that. One is $300,000, and I don't think anybody right here was expecting it to cost that. Two is it's above the public bid threshold, so $250,000, so we'll have to actually go out and publicly advertise it for bids. It still does not solve our funding problem. What I am recommending, and I'm not saying this is a good idea, it's just the best idea I have right now, is we go back to DOTD, tell them the issues we have, tell them that we don't have the $300,000 to do this work, and ask if they will let us backtrack and try to participate in their utility relocation assistance program. Essentially, we're trying to get a 0% loan from the state and see if they will let us submit the paperwork to get in line for that. It will delay the project some, so I'm sure they won't be happy about it. I know none of you will be happy about it, but that's the only path forward I have right now, unless y'all tell me there's $300,000 hidden somewhere and I can bid this thing out.
How long of a portion is that, when you said it was 60 feet?
For the boring,
That we're going to be replacing?
I think it's around, let me see if I got it right here. I think it's around 300.
Yeah,
About
the
300.
board, it was 300, we scaled it down to 275.
Yeah, and we've got to get far enough back so we can go under and then
We
come
gotta
back up.
pass, where the code is gonna pass, we gotta pass both sides.
Now, we thought at one point we were gonna have to relocate the sewer, but they're actually gonna deal with it and work through that with the water main. I think right now, there's 3 of them? Four? There's 4?
Full
Yeah,
water
so we're
main.
trying to consolidate that into one and get it out their way.
Marcus, when you say delay, what does that look like?
I would say they were hoping to have this project advertised. I know I got it right here. They were expecting to advertise their project in early summer. I think it would probably take us 30 days to get that funding in place minimum. Another 30 days to advertise it, 30 days to get contracts and do it all. You know, I'm saying this thing could set us back potentially 3 months.
No, we have a smaller rig, correct, for boring? Don't we have a small boring rig?
It won't do nothing, that's a
I get that,
Right,
but we
yeah.
do have a small boring rig where we already know how to bore, correct?
Yeah,
Why don't we rent our own board, or rent the machine and do it ourselves?
because the state, what they require, and I just learned this today, before the meeting. The guy that's doing the boring, that I reached out to see some, he's doing all the boring. They're requesting our utilities in certain areas, like Swift has one, Energy has one, Water has one. They made Energy go down 20 feet. They want us to stay on top of the Energy line, but below the Swift line. So I don't even want to put my guy through that. That's why it's mayor and council to do it. And I trust my men, and I stand behind them. When Buckles told me he didn't feel comfortable doing it, I said, I stand behind him.
And I respect that.
Because anything that happens, you know, we go into it, we may be a day without water. And everybody will say, well, we thought y'all were ready. I don't want to put it through that.
And to that point, that it's a good question about the boring. The boring out of that $300,000 is about $60,000 to $70,000. So there's still a lot more work that's involved.
Well, I mean, yeah, the breaking up the concrete and all the rest of that, but can we do that portion of it? Can we do any of that with it?
The minimal stuff that we can do will be break the road, but it would have to be when a contractor come in, because the state do not want us to leave the road open.
Correct.
If we open a portion of that road, by nightfall, it has to be closed back, but traffic can go in.
And you have to do it by state specs.
By the state
We had that happen about this.
We tried to get away with just doing a concrete patch, because they're gonna have to redo the road anyway. They told us we could put a concrete patch, but it had to be asphalt over it.
And there's no way that we can do any of that work
No,
to minimize that cost.
no. We planning on going back and sit with the contractor, the only one that gave something, and sit down and see if we can put a hand in it with them to try and get the cost down. I can't tell y'all it's gonna be $150. I know it's not gonna cut the cost in half.
Well, in the process of it, let's put it out again for bid again.
Well, guys, once we get our funding, we're gonna put it out for bid. That's when you get a little more, well, we should get a little more competitive prices. I say that, I mean, these guys knew I was getting it.
Maybe it's just Marcus, and maybe it's just, is there any other way that they could go ahead and do what they plan on doing without having to do like another plan to go ahead and take care of it besides what they have now? Because there's always more than one way to fix a problem.
Matt,
I'm not saying there's not.
I think, Mark, let me ask you a question. You said 90 days by the time we apply for the loan and get it.
I mean, I'm shooting from the hip right here, so
So
talk to me.
we're in April, and if you're approving to go ahead and apply for it, maybe by June, mid-July, we can have it. They're not even putting the bid out till around that time anyway, the state. So how long does it take for them, 30 days to get bids?
Yeah, you gotta advertise for 25.
Right, so you figure August, by the time they get the bid back, around August, September, we can
And
have
the
it.
reason I'm asking, I mean, everybody that does something, no matter what trade they're in, there's always an alternative to doing something a different way,
Right.
you know. And that's why I'm asking. I mean,
One-
attorneys, you ask attorneys, they'll all give you a different opinion, and, you know, mechanics and carpenters and plumbers, you know, they can all show you a different way to do something. I'm just asking if there's a possibility that they could look at it again to try to avoid having to move all those utilities.
From the states, I don't think so, Mayor. I mean, they've got to, they've got to go through there to the outfall. For us to limit the cost, we might do multiple small lines, but that's not ideal. Then you get a leak, well, which one is it on? We still got to dig up at point A and dig up at point B. We've got all those lines, we got to get them all out. So from our perspective, again, I'm not saying there's not another way or maybe even a better one, but it's not obvious. And for DOTD's plan, definitely, it's not obvious another way. Like the sewer, what they're doing, they've allowed us to do what we call a conflict.
How much of that right of way do we have left where we can possibly move it back some instead of moving it deeper or something of that nature?
No, I mean, no matter what, we're crossing. So if they're running this way, we gotta go that way.
Correct. But if we move it back as far as where they have to go with, I mean, maybe we can just make the one that's confirmed, that's their turn and come back around.
Yeah, if we get off of their right of way, it's a state right of way. If we
Correct.
get off of their right of way, you're on private property, you gotta get servitudes from all the landowners.
Yeah, but I mean, would that be cheaper?
But aren't they closing in the ditch most of the way? I mean,
Yeah.
We can't go around it. By that time, we'd be running 1,500 foot of pipe.
Did you say you put out 12, sent it to 12?
I think I sent it to 10 or 12.
But coming back to what Danny said, can we go ahead and advertise and do what we have to
No.
do to try to get a jump start on it?
No, I'm saying go ahead and apply for the loan.
Yeah.
For the loan.
Yeah, we can't advertise
Until we
for
get the
bids
money.
until we have the money.
No, I'm asking, can we go ahead
We can
and
ask.
apply for the loan starting tomorrow or whatever, or next week?
I'm going to send an email to DOT and ask them if that's a possibility. I got these bids today, guys, so.
Yeah.
And I kind of did it in a rush to hurry up and get them, to have them here tonight so we could have some idea of where we're going.
So, man, you cool with that? You know,
Yes, sir.
decide for
No
it?
problem.
Well, he have to, like you said, he have to get it to
Yeah,
DOT
you gotta
first.
get with DOT
I
first.
understand that, but I'm just saying, instead of having to come back and ask us next week,
Yeah.
I'm asking, can we get the okay now to proceed with that?
Yeah,
That's what I'm asking.
So the plan will be to contact DOT, see what our options are, and if they're somewhat similar to what I'm saying here, a 0% interest loan, then we move forward. If it's something a little different, then we'll reconvene, but maybe we don't wait. I'll keep you updated.
Yeah. Sounds good. We gotta have a special one, we'll have a special. We'll make it happen.
Okay.
You
Next on my
motion
list.
John, go ahead and proceed.
We ain't doing it yet.
You got another head?
No, he's gonna give it DOT first.
Ms. Mash.
It's not as bad. All right, next on my list is our FY 25-26 LCDBG Public Facilities Program grant application. So that's the application that I talked about last time, where I think we should apply for sewer, And the sewer projects that I think you should include in here is sludge removal at the old ponds, aeration in the old ponds, your first sale, and then levee repairs on the new ponds. The reason I bring those things up is for the aerators in the first pond, what that is to do is to help knock down some of the sludge buildup that you have in the corners. DEQ has been on Rondell about that. We've kind of pacified them for a while, but it's coming back. It's not going away until we address it. So that's a definite must, something we need to do. My thought is, hey, we're out there. Why don't we go ahead and take care of these problems that we foresee coming? Sludge removal. I went back on some historic aerials. Best I can tell, this pond, that first cell was dug in the 1960s. I bet it's never been cleaned out. That sludge, when we drained it down, I think sludge was about 4 or 5 foot deep in there. So something that, once you fill up that pond with sludge, then you can't put as much water in there. The water doesn't sit as long. If the water doesn't sit as long, it doesn't have the time to get treated as long. So it's something that's gonna be coming down the pipeline. If we got an opportunity to address it, I think we include it in this grant. And then last, definitely not least, is on your new ponds, there's some sections of that levee that are gonna cause you some problems in the next 5 years. So I think we include those in here. Ultimately, I'm proposing that we apply for about $1.8 million of construction, give or take about $200,000 of engineering. The one stipulation that I need you guys to decide on, that may be a tough decision tonight, is the state will not allow the cost of grant administration in the grant, so you have to pay for that locally. That amount is about $90,000 for a $2 million project. So what I need you guys to decide on tonight is, do y'all want to agree to put up $90,000 of local funds if this thing gets, if and when it gets funded, and you would get $2 million. So $90,000 for $2 million.
As you say, if they get funded.
Yeah. Again, you have to put up the admin. You don't have to put up the engineering this year. That's why I'm not even proposing that to y'all. I know we've got these other money problems, so I'm just pitching the $90,000 for admin, because you have to put it up if you want to apply.
If you don't get it,
If you don't get it, you don't.
We'll get no paper.
Do we have the money to do it?
And then they gotta be paid all at once.
No, it'll probably be over a 18-month period, 18 months.
Pay you $90,000. I make a motion.
Motion by Mr. Denny,
Second.
second by Mr. Carl. Any discussion? All in favor, signify by saying aye. All right.
Okay, in addition to that, I'd like y'all to make a motion to apply for sewer treatment plant improvements, which is the things we're just talking about. But that'll be another resolution that ultimately we'll have to submit with the application.
So it's another $90,000?
No, it's just, what y'all just did, y'all said y'all were gonna pay the $90,000 to submit the application. If it gets funded, now I'm asking you to select the project, essentially apply for sewer treatment plant improvements. And that's those 3 parts I talked about: sludge removal, aerators, and levee repairs.
I'll make
I make the motion to treatment
Motion by
plant.
Mr. Mike, second by Mr. Danny. Any discussion? All in favor, signify by saying aye. All right.
All right, that's all I have.
Thank you, appreciate it.
Thank y'all.
Item 5, spring buyer restoration. We go ahead and we sponsor and we give spring buyer restoration monetary support to go ahead and keep spring buyer alive. I don't know if any of y'all have gone or seen the 2 last fishing tournaments that they had. I saw Mike was there. But there's a big turnout that goes to spring buyer, and it's sort of like the 4th of July. There's a whole bunch of people that come buy gas and they buy different things and fishing equipment, and they put a lot of money back into the community. So they asked if I would approach the council again to go ahead and give them a little bit of money so that they can go forward and keep spring buyer alive and keep it going. And if anybody's been to any of the tournaments, they'll know what we're talking about. Mike, you might want to shed a little bit of light on it.
a lot of people show up for that.
But
A lot of boaters come, fishermen come from out of town, out of the parish.
there were a I think the first National Guard tournament, they had 23 boats, and this last tournament, they had 21. And then they have another fishing tournament coming up within the next couple of months. And they asked if the city was willing to give them $1,000 sponsorship. So I told them I would approach the council and see, what they wanted to do and if they were willing to do so. So.
Motion.
Second.
Okay, I got a motion and a second. Any other discussion? All in favor, signify by saying aye. Aye. All opposed? Okay. Item 6, adopt the 2025 millage rate, Craig?
Yeah, every year, this year is not an assessment year. The current rate is 7.15, it's gonna remain the same. It's just a formality of adopting the current rate. Not the millage rate, not for this year, not for 25.
Need a motion?
Yeah.
I'll make a motion.
Motion by Mike,
Second.
second by Mr. Carl. Any discussion? All in favor, signify by saying aye. Item 7, adopt the fair housing proclamation.
The month of April is in your package they have, April is the fair housing month, and the state has that, requires that the cities adopt this proclamation.
Whereas the 25th anniversary of the National Fair Housing Law, Title 8 of the Civil Rights Act of 1968 during the month of April is an occasion for all Americans, individually and collectively, to rededicate themselves to the principle of freedom from housing discrimination wherever it exists. And whereas this law guarantees for each citizen that crucial personal element of freely choosing a home, and whereas a fair housing law has been passed by the state of Louisiana, and implementation of the law requires the positive commitment, involvement, and support of each of our citizens. And whereas the departments and agencies of the state of Louisiana are to provide leadership in an effort to make the fair housing not just an idea, but an ideal for all our citizens. And whereas barriers that diminish the rights and limit the options of any citizen to freely choose a home will ultimately diminish the rights and limit the options of all. Now therefore, I, John Lemoyne, Mayor of the City of Marksville, do hereby proclaim the month of April 2025 as Fair Housing Month in the City of Marksville. And the witnesses whereof I hereunto set my hand and cause to be affixed the great seal of the parish of Walls in the City of Marksville, this 10th day of April 2025. Need a motion?
Motion.
Motion by Mr. Carl,
I'll second.
second by Mr. Mike. All in favor, signify by saying aye. All right. Okay, item 8, discuss the drug dog, Mr. Mike.
Okay, Jason's got, information. We're looking into possibly, we've got a grant that'll pay for a drug dog, and the city would have to pay for the training of the officer. The dog would be trained, in other words, you have to train the officer to the dog. But it's not a bite dog. It's a drug sniffing and possibly guns and gunpowder and stuff like that. And Jason, you wanna give us
Yeah, a few
something?
months ago, I actually came to the council to see about the dog, and they told me to go ahead and proceed with it. We did find a grant for one, they'll pay for the dog completely, it's right around $9,000 for the dog, to be trained for narcotics. We have a unit, we can convert it for hardly little to no money. The trainer would be 4,500 plus room and board, so I think the city would have to come up with around 6,000 to send the officer. And like I said, the unit, we have one unit for now until we can get further, we can convert that one for the dog. The dog would be totally paid for, which on any grant, that's the only grants out there, would be just for the dog. Anything, any officer or anybody would send, the city would have to do.
You have an officer that's interested, Dick?
I got one that's interested.
You have one that's interested? Has it been offered to everybody?
It will be, but one that's really interested and does good on arrest now is making a ton of arrests now on drugs. I say
A ton of arrests without
I say a
drugs?
ton, but making it without it. So they want it. It's not anybody that wants to work with a dog. Not anyone that wants to house the dog. You can ask Councilman Freels, it is a lot of work. It is a lot of time. It is a lot of training. I do have one officer that's really interested in it, but I will advertise throughout the department to see who else wants it. But I mean, everything will be taken into account as far as arrest and productivity and, you know, who's pursuing this, if y'all decide to move forward.
So, Grant takes care of the dog. $6,000 to train the officer to work with the dog.
It's $4,500 for the school, and then $150 a day for the hotel at a discount for 2 weeks. So
$6,000 for the officer to be trained.
We have the vehicle.
You add the vehicle.
I would say maybe $1,000 by the time we put the cage and put some lights in it, and we'd have to get the officer a pen to keep at home.
So,
$8,000.
$8,000.
I mean, I'm just highballing it. I mean,
I understand. $8,000 up front, pretty much.
45, well, the 6 up front.
How much is the grant, Jason?
The grants for the dog, between 9 and 10. He wouldn't, I've been trying to get the information on the guy. He's in the middle of a training right now on who approved the grant. So I've been trying to get the breakdown of it, and I'm having trouble. But I know the dog is paid for, which is between 9 and 10. The training is $4,500, and the rooms are $150. So I did the math on that. It's around $6,000.
Okay, so $6,000. Work on the unit.
We'll work on the unit.
Of
I don't know how much cages are running for us for a Dodge Charger. It shouldn't be too much because it's not a big vehicle. I mean,
About $900 for the
so $1,000 for the cage. What about the care of the animal in perpetuity?
that's all on the city.
All in the city.
In the past, I will say that we paid for it for the food, but Walmart also donated a lot of it also. They did a lot of donating. I'll speak on that portion of it. As for the vet care and everything, the city have to take care of all of that. And of course, the training, whenever you go back to training once a week, and things of that nature.
Once a week?
As for your daily, your weekly upkeep.
This is in Alexandria.
Just the Alexandria.
Just practice.
So they got to go out of town and get trained, the initial training. Other than that, you go practice with
Right there in Alexandria.
RPSO, APD.
All right, let me ask you this. The end result, you go ahead and get the dope dog, go ahead and do a drug bust, and they go and you arrest them and they have to go to court. They have to pay fine money. Do we ever get any of that fine money because we busted a drug head?
We're about to find money, but if we collect any seizure money, any vehicles, all that will be returned to us.
So if you confiscate,
If you confiscate vehicles.
like we had did when we did that drug bust at CBS,
CBS.
we kept all that money.
Right. That's how we bought the.
So that's the only way that you, as far as the fine money, fining them for having, it's only if they have the possession inside a vehicle, you seize the vehicle.
Cash, vehicles, any assets, stuff like that. Now, if we seize a vehicle, it has to be paid for in the person's name that we arrest.
Correct.
Then we can seize it, turn around, sell it, like the big bus at CBS years ago, that's how we afforded the title, stuff like that. That's why we do have this vehicle now. I'm not asking for a new vehicle if y'all decide to go with this. We're gonna see what happens.
How many of these seizures have we had in the last year?
Oh, as far as
Money?
money, we don't have nobody working narcotics besides the road guys.
But we still got a few.
But we have some small, it's nothing a big quantity.
How many of these dogs do we have in the parish?
Sheriff's office has 2, The tribe got
Three?
It's 5, I think, total.
but they give even harder to even come assist us.
Yeah, Mansura has
Sarah has one,
one.
they don't.
The sheriff department has 2, yeah, the sheriff department has 2. And that's drug dogs. And then they have a search, bomb, so they have all those different things.
The DA's office does get a lot of cash seizures
Oh, yeah, they
when it
don't-
comes to that.
Yeah, we gon'
Drug dealers don't carry a credit card.
no.
They carry a cash.
Right, the DA gets those.
No, that's allocated amongst all law enforcement
We
agencies.
get 75, if, whatever we collect, we get 75%, if I remember right. The other 75% goes between the judges and the other 25%.
Remember that big hit that we had at CBS?
Yeah.
Sheriff's office just came and saw what we had, and they wanted a
They just,
percentage.
they watched us count it.
Yeah.
I remember that. But the key thing is you possibly get more drugs off the street. That's the main thing.
100%, because if somebody, if I was.
It's
a
another
dealer-
tool to get drugs off the street.
If I was carrying drugs, hey, you wanna search my vehicle? No. Who's gonna call the judge at midnight to get a search warrant? As where the dog is, you let the dog go, when the dog alerts, you automatically got your problem off the road. That's the difference. And if you have somebody that wants to pursue it and be involved in it, I mean, once again, it's a good tool at the end of the day,
Yeah.
you know?
I'm with you. I'm not with you on that.
Make a motion.
Motion by Mr. Mike.
Mike, I think, Mayor, we actually need to table it till Jason gets true numbers. Because right now we guessing between 6,000 and 10,000, and we need true
The
numbers.
6,000 for sure.
But
I
I mean,
had the paperwork at the hotel, and the class is $4,500.
right.
The hotel's $150 a day, times 10.
So when would you make your decision as to who you want to put?
Oh, we have to get it approved first, then we're gonna advertise on who
Approval?
wants it.
Get what
To
approval?
get for the dog.
Yeah.
I'm not gonna go advertise
To
it,
get
we're
this
not gonna get a dog.
I think we just need to table it till we get some true numbers.
Okay, I got a motion, I need a second to go ahead and, us to go ahead and proceed, and we got the grant already, correct?
Grant's on standby.
Yeah, it's on standby, so we have to approve, and then the grant, we get the grant. Got a motion, do I have a second? So we don't have a second for a drug dog to go ahead and try
All right,
to
thank you.
curtail the drug problem in town.
Well, that's sad. That is sad.
All because of the group that against the officer Mike.
All right, motion dies from lack of a second. Okay, item 9, discuss the demolition orders, Mr. Jonathan.
Okay, this is the second wave or round of whatever, however you want to call it, letters that were sent out for possible homes for demolition. We have 2 of them, and Marcus and Rondell have been working with this too. We have 724 Bruyette Street, which is number 31 on our list. It's my understanding that the owner, Ernest Dominic, was contacted and he has agreed to allow the city to demolish the property. So all we need to do is have a vote to condemn that particular piece of property.
Yes, I had a letter typed up for him, he signed it, I took a picture for our file. He was okay with it, he just didn't want to incur any debt.
So that's a simple. So we just need a vote on that.
I'll make the motion to carry that.
Motion by Mr. Jordan,
Second.
second by Mr. Danny. Any discussion? All in favor, signify by saying aye.
Any other ones that's not?
Okay.
That was 712.
That was
724.
724 Bruyette Street. The second one is 338 Bruyette Street. That's another one. The owner was contacted, Voorhees Mills in Michigan. He received his notice and he has also agreed to allow the city to demolish that particular piece of property, and that's number 27 on your list.
I'll make that motion.
Motion by Mr. Jordan,
I second, man.
second by Mr. Denny. Any discussion? All in favor, signify by saying aye. Aye. Okay.
The third one is going to be 219 Overton Street. That letter was sent to the owner, Lavinia Charles in Georgia. She received it. I think Rondell is in the process of trying to communicate with her or has communicated with her. Can you-
I haven't got back in contact with her. She was down here when we first started. She's up in age. She had came down to bring her kids to have everything transferred to their name.
So on this one, I would recommend, I mean, she did receive the letter, but it would probably be the prudent thing to maybe just give a 30-day extension. If that truly is her intent, is to give the property to her children, and we can move on from there.
Which one is it?
That is 219 Overton Street.
Number 21 on the paperwork.
Right.
I'll make that motion for the 30-day extension.
Motion by Mr. Torrey,
I second.
second by Mr. Danny. Any discussion? All in favor, signify by saying aye. Okay,
All right, the fourth is 212 Overton Avenue. This is one piece of property that I'm familiar with. The letter was sent to one of the owners, which is Roy Anthony Jacob in Washington State. I know him personally, I know his father, and I'm gonna get in touch with him. The problem with this one is, I know for a fact, he and his two sisters acquired an undivided 1/4 interest in this property from their father. So the bottom line is this particular piece of property, Roy Anthony Jacobs is not the only owner of the property. So after I talk to him, depending on what he wants to do, we're gonna, if push comes to shove, we're gonna have to find all of the heirs and notify them, because one of the linchpins of all of this is the owner has to be notified. So I'm gonna ask for a 30-day extension on that one too, to give me time to get in touch with Mr. Jacobs.
I make that motion.
And I'll second.
motion by Mr. Danny, second by Mr. Torrey. Any discussion? All in favor, signify by saying aye.
The last one is 353 Felix Street. That one, the letter was sent to the owner Clyde Frank in Michigan. He received the letter March the 12th. He has agreed to clean up the property, and Rondell is,
I spoke to him, his nephew is actually over the property. I went out there, they did cut the grass. They started doing work on and in the trailer. They showed me all what they had. I did take pictures of it, so it's moving along with that.
so based on that, on this one, I recommend that we give him a 30
And
days.
they don't want anyone to live in it. They're using it for a storage building. His daughter stays across the street.
So we giving them a 30 day?
I mean, that's what I
Oh,
recommend.
we gonna do a 30 day, or we pulling it off?
30 days, because I don't want to come back next month and then stop working, and then we take it off the list, and then we won't be able to put it back on. I think we just wait the 30 more days for next, and I'll keep on going, making weekly rounds to see if they're progressing.
And we can keep it on the list, and next month, whenever we go through the list, if there's been progress and continued progress, well then fine. If they just stopped, well then we can still move forward.
All right, so I vote for the 30 day.
That's on number 3, right?
Yes, number 3.
Motion by Mr. Torrey,
I second it.
second by Mr. Danny.
Listen,
Any discussion? All in favor, signify by saying aye. Okay,
And that concludes the 5 that we had up for this month. And we sent out, last month, we sent out another wave of the ones that live out of state. We sent it to them and asked them to come to the next month's meeting. Because one of the problems was we're sending the letters out, we weren't getting the green cards back, and the letters specifically stated be here in 30 days. So we had to start the process over. So we did it 60 days out to give us more lead time.
And the ones y'all did, 1 and 29 on the list, they did, number 1 did get the permit. RAPC did go out, he did file for the permit, he paid it. He gave him 60 days to get everything in order, or it expired, and he has to go back again. But by that time, if he haven't done it, then it's staying on the list with tear down.
Okay.
And that goes, the one number 29, they came in the next day, and it was a no-fee permit for them because of what they were doing. But they did jump on it the next morning.
So as long as we see progress.
Yeah.
What about the ones that we're adding, anything that we're adding to?
Adding, we have to wait.
Have to wait?
Yeah.
Okay.
That's it, John?
That's it.
All right. 10, financial statements and bills for March 2025 by Ms. Anita.
Wait,
I'm sorry, Mike. You want
the
to
bid opening.
Yeah. Mike had added this to the agenda. for the video opening for the vehicles and dump trailers or whatever that we have.
First one I have is from Central Air on Gooseneck Tree. One of the trailers he's bidding $1,550 on. And the second one he's bidding $2,550.
And that's on what?
On the gooseneck trailers, the Lincoln box trailers.
He was the only one?
No,
Okay.
that's Paraform. So. Trailers. And then, and here he's probably got it inside.
Who is it?
It's Alvin Morel. Yeah, he's got a name right. One trailer, he's got $1,011. And on the second trailer, the one with no VIN number, $801.
1,011?
1,011.
The other one? 801? It's the same trailers.
Mm-hmm. On the 1990 GMC.
That's all for the trailers?
That's all
Yeah,
for the
that's all
trailers.
I have for the trailers.
Let me see that, please.
So for the trailers,
Let me put his,
Paraforms, got it?
yeah, yeah.
There's one or two trailers?
There's two trailers.
So, and he got both of them?
Yep.
Okay.
On the 1990 GMC, Alvin Morel. That's the only bid we got on that. $801.
So he was the only one that bid it on that, correct?
Yeah, that's a
So Alvin Morel get that one.
1990 GMC.
The 1990 GMC.
Yeah. 1993 Ford, Alvin Morel. Yep,
He's the only one again for the 1993 Ford.
$821.
821, he got that one too.
A 1997 International, Alvin Morel. Only bid on it.
1997 International, only one, Alvin.
All it says is International. $1,011.
You get that one.
Need a motion to accept the high bids on this? Or if you want to reject them and re-advertise?
I make a motion, go ahead and accept the high bids.
Got a motion by Mr. Stewart. Second by Mr. Denny.
How long they have to bid that?
What we gave them the last time, a week?
5
2 weeks.
2 weeks?
Yeah.
All right, we ran into trouble with that last time.
What kind of trouble?
Stuff. We ran into trouble. We told them the time limit and still had stuff on the yard after the time.
Well, after the time limit, it goes back up. So, hey, they got 2 weeks to get them. If they don't get it in 2 weeks, it goes back up.
We got a motion by Mr. Stewart, second by Mr. Danny. Any discussion? All in favor, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Okay, Ms. Anita? Financial reports?
Bills for March 2025, City Hall, $15,682.36. Police, $35,471.34. Fire, $30,683.50. Street, $82,786.42. Beautification, $2,985.69. Total general fund, $167,609.31. Sewer, $74,577.95. AWC, $59,160. Water, $34,061.55. Total, $167,799.50. Grand total, $335,408.81. I make a motion that these bills be approved for payment.
Motion by Mr. Anita, second by Mr. Stewart. Any discussion? All in favor, signify by saying aye. Departmental reports, Craig, Secretary Treasurer.
Sales tax collected for March 2025, $329,070. Of that, 1% is $164,535. The 0.5% is $82,267. The public safety is $82,267.50. It's a decrease of 39% from February of 25, and we collected $457,419.65, and an increase of 9.11% from March of 24, when we collected $301,583.68.
So good. Chief Smith, Police Department.
Okay, for the month of March, the police department handled 365 complaints for 18 accidents with 156 citations and 54 arrests. There was 12 drug arrests made, and there was 2 cases turned over to the DA's office.
Thank you, Chief. Appreciate it. Mr. Chris, Fire Department.
Our report for the month of March, we ran 33 calls, 22 inside the city limits, 9 outside the city limits, 2 mutual aid calls. Consisted of 4 grass fires, 3 trash fires, 3 structure fires, 2 auto accidents, 1 tree fire, 2 hazardous conditions, 2 service calls, 4 medical emergencies, 8 fire alarm activations, 2 assists to Marksville PD, 1 auto extrication, and 1 ZTR alarm.
Thank you, Chris. Appreciate it. Mr. Floyd, Street Department.
For the month of March, a week and a half ago, we had a lot of wind, we had a lot of trees. We had 4 trees fall and 6 big branches across the road. Took care of that. Installed 2 covers, cutting out parks as needed. There's been a lot of rain, so we cutting as we go. Put a lot of cold mix. My animal count was 2 this morning, and we're 6 right now.
That's it. Thank you,
Floyd, in months past, you've reported ditch digging throughout the city.
We are digging if it's dry.
Outstanding. Outstanding. Moving forward, when ditches are dug, can we get a list of those streets where those ditches are being dug? Thank you.
We take pictures of it too.
All right.
Mr. Floyd, I had to bring it to Rondell's attention, and I called you after. Those trucks that are riding around with those trailers, the branches on the side of the road, and Rondell and I went to look. Can you talk to those guys before they leave early in the morning to tell them when they pass them beside some branches, to please load them up? That's their job.
And what he's saying is it don't matter what district it's in, if they pass somebody that's on the side of the road, pick it up.
Yeah.
I get that.
Yeah.
I mean,
We
you know,
went, and they,
Yeah.
we were looking at stuff and they passed right by branches.
yeah,
Me and Mayor looking like, it was in District 1, it was one.
yeah.
And we like, they gonna stop and pick that up, they kept going.
Was it that day? So they
Yeah,
did-
it was
Monday.
It was Monday, and it was in District 1.
Yeah, and so, yeah, sometimes they pass it up because it's not their day, but we get
He
it.
doesn't pick up branches, he opens the covers and that's probably.
But you know, the people see that, they see an empty truck passing right by branches, and it not being
Well,
picked
I just
up.
tell them both ways.
Yeah.
Because I was told at first, have this certain truck, just put cover. In fact, Mr. Torrey wanted that like that. Now he's telling me something else.
What's that?
I wanna be right.
The truck that passed was a truck with branches.
Okay. I
And
understand.
actually Monday, I told you put everybody on branches
Exactly.
because we just had that windstorm.
Oh,
That's what I did.
Floyd, the park by the tennis courts, there's a big branch down in there. Thank you.
By the tennis court. Oh, okay, okay. On the highway one side.
Okay, Mr. Sean? Unification?
In the month of March, we picked up 66 bags of litter on the state roads. District 1, 24. District 2, 41. District 3, 51. District 4, 31. District 5, 35, for a total of 248 bags of litter. And we also, we helped the garden club plant at the wagon wheel 5 trees.
It looks good with your, you know, the back bar, back gate, it looks good.
Did we get that sprayer for the little tractor yet?
So we actually ordered a new sprayer. The one Sean had, from it bouncing over the years, it just got bad. We were changing pumps every year on engine parts, so we ordered a whole new Honda engine that's compatible to what the sewer department uses, the jetter. So if something break on, we can get parts, and we have some olds that we can take parts off.
No, I'm talking about to go on the back of that little, the one that goes in the field and everything.
No, we didn't.
Right.
He can have with the bump that I have in the.
What Sean is using now, we're gonna put that one
On the back of that tractor, that way he can spray while he's
Yeah.
in.
The one he's getting it is gonna shoot like.
Because that's gonna kill two birds right there whenever he go out there and cut it and then come back around and spray itself.
And also, we'll try and see if we got an extra zero turn. Been getting complaints, and I've seen it, where the bush hog can't pass. He may be way ahead of the crew. He may finish a whole lot faster than the crew, and they don't make it to that point. But you left with a 2 or 3 foot spot on every road. And it's just tall, I mean, it looks ugly. If we have a zero turn following behind him, it could get closer.
The house on Martin Luther King, the White House across the street from,
Yes,
St. Catherine.
we sent a letter out. Before we go in there, I want to let it dry a little bit. We're gonna have to go with the skid steer first because it had one dead dog. A dog died that was left on the chain. We took the dog out, but we left the chain. It had some bike frames all in the back and all kind of metal.
So can we-
Before I put a lawnmower or anything in there, we're going with the skid steer straight over.
So I wanna know, can we do one thing? Go along that fence line and spray, or weed it along that fence line?
We're gonna spray it.
Okay, huh?
We're gonna spray it.
That
When
way,
we go in, we're gonna cut it
that
and
family
spray
on the side gets some relief
Yeah.
from that.
it. Yeah. We just sent that letter out. I just didn't wanna go in the yard. I wanted the homeowner to get a letter first.
Where, who's that, that house belong to?
I'll tell you, I don't wanna mention it.
Mr. Rondell, you up?
All right. First I have Mayor and Council. I don't know if you're aware of this. Y'all may wanna look at it and make a decision on it. I got a call from the school board today about a tree. You can see, I put this pink thing here, that's where the tree is located. If you can see the property on this other sheet, it all belongs to the school board. That's where the baseball field is, the tennis court, and the little park. All right, it has a big pecan tree, it's about to fall. And so I went out and looked at it. But as me and Mr. Craig looked on the assessor's website, the whole thing there says, school board.
But, that's right close to where the little farmer's market used to be.
Yes,
correct?
yes.
And, I know through the course of the year, there are people, I had a call from Miss Selma Prager,
Yes.
that, from the school board office. And she was telling me that the people that sell produce, tomatoes, cantaloupes and stuff, that they sell near that tree, that they're saying that, and I don't know if this is true or not, Craig, do they get a permit from the city?
Yes.
To go ahead and sell over there?
I double check, after I spoke to Mr. Ray this morning, he called me, and Ms. Thelma called me this afternoon. So I went to City Hall, and I asked all of them if they do in fact do permits for that area, they said yes. I said, when it had the little canopy, would they come and get permission? They said they didn't need a permit, but they would come get a permission from us. And I said, well, why would we give them permission if this is for the school board?
What's the difference between a canopy and no canopy?
Exactly.
Is that a neutral zone?
Well, at one time I thought it was for the city.
But the city has always charged, and I don't know how you can legally charge it, because it's not our property, but the city has always received money for those people that go in and sell produce right there. And they've gone and got permits from y'all, correct?
Yeah.
So if we sell a permit, if we're receiving money for permits, I think we should be obligated to cut the tree.
The tree is a danger. The whole, I don't know if anyone else seen it. but
What
it's gonna end up falling.
what does a permit cost to peddle fruit and vegetables there? $200.
Yeah.
Did we split any of that with the school board?
No.
But listen, that, from what I
It's been going
understand.
on.
that's
I understand it's been going
for
on, but
years.
there's a lot of things been going on that shouldn't be going on.
Well,
Well, it's been going on for 20, 30 years.
Yeah.
I mean, it's just been passed down to
I
everybody.
didn't say they had to get a permit.
on the building
Now-
saying fruit, and it was a designated area, a farmer's market, that's what he.
Correct?
Yeah.
Farmers market.
That was established a long
What
time
I was
ago.
told back then, if they were under the canopy, they didn't need a permit.
I thought it was always, if they,
So Rondell,
stuff that they grew,
is the school
that
board,
they didn't have to buy a permit. That's what I
is
was
the
always
school
told.
board good with them setting up on their property?
Apparently, they
Never
didn't
said
know
it.
until this came up.
They didn't know what?
That was theirs.
They didn't know that because
No,
they was under the impression, and you gotta remember, they just started at this position, a lot of them over there just started at this position, but this been for years.
And that's from the agreement that the city had.
I was on the school board 26
Yeah.
years, and the city always sold permits for those
And,
people who
well,
sell produce.
Chief
And
Chris
the
just
school board always
told
let them
me that the city purchased that building over there.
What building?
The canopy
The
is
canopy.
owned by the city. When Dr. Michelle was mayor, the
Correct.
city paid for that canopy.
Yeah.
Now, that might have been installed there in that intergovernmental agreement
That's
that
what I
the
was
city has with the school board to maintain that park. You see, there was some misconception about that intergovernmental agreement last year when the city was softly approached about going in with the school board to replace the lights at the tennis courts.
Yeah.
I read that intergovernmental agreement.
But it's very,
Wait,
It's, you close your eyes and read it.
Mhm.
That's how much it points out.
Well, when Governor Edwards was, that's Edwin Edwards Park. If you go, there's a plaque behind the old concession stand. There's a plaque, Edwin Edwards Park. Edwin Edwards and Raymond LaBorde were classmates. They went to legislature together. One was governor and one was in the legislature. They made an agreement with the school board. I was on the school board then, that to go ahead, there was an intergovernmental agreement that the city would go ahead, the school would use it during the school periods of when they played softball and everything else. After that in the summer, that the Little League could go ahead and use it at their wishes. And it was an intergovernmental agreement that the city and the school board would get along and share a park.
And I told her, Mr. Owen, that's as much as I knew, what you just said, man. And she said she was on that, she even asked me if we own the tennis court. I said, no,
No.
it's all on the school board property.
So can we get a letter from the school board, superintendent school board, giving us some type of understanding on how they'd like to move forward on these individuals selling produce and whatever on their property? Because I've seen people selling rocking chairs out there.
Well, the thing about it,
You still gotta come get a permit,
with
Carl.
this incident here, with this tree, I don't wanna be giving them permission on the school board's property and something will happen and they say, well,
That's what I'm trying to say. If the school board doesn't want them there, why, we shouldn't be issuing them permits to sell on their property?
Not that they don't want them there, they've been allowed to sell produce over there for numerous years.
Not even you, they got a
The
permit.
issue is the tree, correct?
Yes, sir.
Yes, yes.
When Blake.
So the issue is not anything with
They
permit.
don't have any right, the guy that called me this morning, he said the only thing, I'm working with a budget. He said, I just took a hit on the lights. He said, can y'all help us out with this tree? I said, I can't make that call. I said, when I went and looked at the tree, I honestly thought it was city property. Because all the people getting permits and selling stuff. So when me and Craig looked at it, I said, before I do anything, I like to dot my I's and cross my T's. I said, pull it up, Craig. When he pulled it up, he said, no. And
Did he give you a price on the tree removal?
Yes.
What is it?
Yes, it's $2,500.
$2,500.
Is that that big, big, big tree?
Don't worry, I was
Motion to
up
cover
on the
half.
Huh?
Motion to cover half.
But
I mean, if we collected money.
Okay, motion to cover it all?
Let's go ahead and tear it down.
How much you've collected so far on permits with it?
No.
But you collected $200 for
That's just this year, for the years that has passed. He made the motion, I'll second it.
All right.
Let's get it done.
Motion second, cut the tree.
All right, no problem. All right. 634 North Preston. Do you have that file with you, Marcus? 634 North Preston is this burnt house over there. Want to know how y'all want to proceed with this? Did you do an inspection on it? All right. And the other one is the Doza house. That's the one right behind the apartments on Preston.
In there, three, there's one right past, where Adam used to live. There's one in the front.
Talking about that white one?
Yeah.
Yeah, he's already agreed.
Yeah.
Right there,
Yeah.
right past Miss Jenny's house.
Yeah, he
Yeah,
already.
he already contacted me that he's
Okay,
willing to
so
tear
you
that
got three
down.
on Preston, I believe.
Yeah, but this one is the one that, we've been fighting with this family for years. We did tear one down. The father and the two sons came. It's this house here, almost in the curve on Preston, behind the apartments. We sent a letter, Jonathan sent the letter. Marks and them did an inspection. They condemned it. They done got smart to it, where they see a letter come in, certified saying, City of Marksville, they don't accept it.
Well, Chief, haven't y'all gone and given numerous fines at that place?
Yes.
So, you know, can y'all hand deliver the letter? and send it?
moved to Hesper.
He was staying right here at the corner of Ogden. The guy put him out.
Yeah.
He moved to Hesmer, jumped it up, they put him out there. So now he's living back over here.
Well, I think either the chief or the boss there, sheriff department needs to go ahead and get the letter to it, because I know y'all have given him several fines for trash in the yard.
We can either do that, we can either get the police to put it in their hand,
Correct.
or there's a provision in the ordinances to where we can get a lawyer appointed that puts an ad in the newspaper. You see before anybody knowing the whereabouts of Joe Blow, please contact that attorney, and you've got to go through that process.
Yeah.
It'd probably be a lot easier if we just got the chief or somebody from the police department to put it in their hands.
Well, let's go through that.
All right. They started on the Hesmer Highway lift station today. Y'all pass out there, y'all may see a big old machine out there. They started running a bypass so they can start TV camera the lines next week. Y'all may get some complaints, it's noisy. loud. I mean, that's just a process they have to go through to get to the next level. Now, the force main on Washington Street, the guys moved it today, so the sewer is done now. Next thing, water meters. We've been having an issue at the water department for the last, 3 months, Ms. Beverly?
About 4 or 5 months.
4 or 5.
Yeah.
And we've been trying to fix it, but it's getting worse. This past month, Ms. Beverly called me, we had 17 pages of rereads. Half of these people on this list had to pay their bill. Some of them are getting bills $300 or $400, when in all actuality, the bill is $40. So the problem is these meters. We have some meters, they're getting old. The batteries are dead, we need to change. Y'all did approve Buckles to go ahead on and get 2 cases a month. It's not enough. By the time he gets 2 cases in and put them in, we got 6 cases that went out.
So we had borrowed the money for those meters. We went to an LMA conference and they sold it to us, and we had borrowed the money. I think it was $400 and some $1,000.
Well, Mayor, what we looking at, we got a count on what's bad right now, what's up. And it's right around, at 72, we were averaging to ask to get 100 meters. You're looking at somewhere around $36,000 for 100 meters.
You haven't replaced the whole meter or just the batteries?
It's best you have to change the whole meter, because if you change just the battery port, the port at the top that spins and read and everything, if the battery's out, that top is worn out. So you may as well just bite the bullet and change it all.
We need to change it to go ahead, because you don't want to go ahead and give a problem to the people that are buying water from us.
Yes, and it's
then the
causing
employees have to go
problems.
double read.
It's causing problems. It's throwing off our cutoff date behind. 1 month, we didn't even do cutoff because it was so bad.
Okay, is there water in the water funds to go ahead and buy that many meters?
What we have with the money, correct?
So you have to borrow money from the 1% sales tax with the ability to repay it, or with the bonding commission.
Did you check with all?
Yep.
So do we have it?
Yep.
Do we have it in the 1%?
Yep. For $36,000.
Yeah.
Not
that's-
for $400,000.
Yeah.
No. We did a count, and it was 72 that they need to change, but we're asking for 100, because I know it's gonna be a few more that go out.
Well, if the money is there, I mean, we can borrow from within ourselves. Yeah, I'll make the motion.
Motion by Tori, second by Ms. Shalita. Any discussion? All in favor, signify by saying aye.
All right, the last thing I had 3 employees that made a change in their job position. They moved up. It's 3 operators. I'm asking for those. It's 1 in sewer, 2 at street department. I'm asking for those employees to be raised up to the 13 an hour for their operators pay.
Does that move come with a probationary period?
I'm asking 90 days.
What's your division? No, whose division is that? Make the motion.
I'll make the motion.
Motion by Mr. Danny,
I'll second.
second by Mr. Stewart. Any discussion? All in favor, signify by saying aye. All right.
That's all I have.
Ms. Beverly?
For the month of March, we locked 53 meters. 34 customers has paid, 16 still hold, and 18 still hold, and of the 18, 6 of them inactive. So that means there's 12 that still hold.
Thank you, Ms. Beverly. Mr. Buckles? John?
Like, month one, we started to 167 service calls, ran 19 scope files, and repaired 18 leaks.
Thank you, Buck. Mr. Johnson?
One thing I have is for executive session.
Need a motion to go into executive session? Motion. Motion by Mr. Carl. Second by Mr.